Tonight, House of Representatives expresses dissatisfaction with quality of ongoing construction work of the Nigeria Customs Services Training College, Ogun State, plus correspondent on pros and cons on roles of the standing orders in Parliament. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Amina Saidu. Political parties and supporters already aligning and realigning ahead of the 2027 general election, but for some civil society organizations, carrying out postmortem of the 2023 general election is the foundation for a credible polls in 2027. And this is the path Policy and Legal Advocacy Center is taking as the group embarks on a program tagged From Ballot to the Courts in analyzing litigations arising from Nigeria's 2023 general election in order to come up with recommendations in sanitizing the electoral process. Timothy Yusuf reports.
And it to be of great value to you and, of course, to the legal jurisprudence as well as election matters in Nigeria.
Public presentation of From Ballot to the Courts, analysis of election petition litigation from Nigeria's 2023 general elections. The report provides a comprehensive analysis of the legal challenges, decisions and key takeaways from the 2023 election process and will offer invaluable insights into the political landscape and the integrity of the electoral process in Nigeria.
A compendium of election reports and cases will be very helpful to the judiciary because a lot of times precedent is always very key. And when you have a situation where at every election you have sometimes very new judges being appointed into election petition tribunals, our hope is that this compendium of cases, this report, would help and inform judges as to what precedents have been set.
Many people believe that, well, judiciary is the problem. But we believe that with the amendment proposed, everybody will have his say and the judiciary will, acting impartially, will decide matters in accordance with the Constitution and the law.
Discussions centered on key findings from the report and its implication for future elections.
I'm directed to assure everybody that the Commission will do its best come 2027 to have a credible, reliable election.
Experts in the electoral and legal fields expressed confidence in Nigeria's ability to deepen its democracy. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Customs and Excise has expressed dissatisfaction with the slow pace of work and quality of ongoing construction of the Nigeria Customs Service Training College in Ogun State. This follows an inspection of the project by the committee in continuation of oversight visits to customs, formations and facilities. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Pen reports.
Bring this one here. Wait, you can see.
This is not some martial arts practice, but lawmakers checking the quality of blocks used for ongoing construction of the Nigeria Customs Service Training College in Ikberu Relation Remo, Ogun State. The multipurpose project, which will eventually serve as a capacity building hub for customs personnel, has a timeline of 36 months. Members of the House Committee on Customs and Excise, while inspecting the project, expressed reservations with the pace of work and use of substandard building materials.
As I said, we have 36 months. We'll give ourselves up to 45%.
I doubt.
45.
This is a priority project that Controller General of Customs asked me and my committee members to check. But the controller does not even know it's in his command. It's unfortunate we have that kind of person as a controller of a command. Something needs to be done. We need a competent person to hold this command.
The committee was at Ogun 1 and 2 customs commands in Idiroko and Abeokuta to look into the books of both commands and assess their operational capabilities against illicit trade.
Smuggling and complicity by criminal elements of the host communities and violent resistant customs enforcement are other areas of challenge we face.
Almost 4 or 5 years now, petroleum products cannot get here, 20 kilometers to the border. We know how much we buy it. Therefore, when people want to do legitimate businesses, I think this should be recognized.
They were concentrating only on Ogun 2. Rather seeing lapses in the revenue, in the revenue figures.
I think this controller needs to be invited to the National Assembly. Maybe we should end it here so that you can learn lesson. You have to come to the National Assembly to come and learn lesson.
Next ports of call were the Apapa and Tinkan Island Customs Commands, where it was revealed that unregistered pharmaceutical products topped the list of seizures. Shortage of scanning machines and poor road network were listed as major causes of port congestion and delays in cargo clearance.
The lack of adequate scanning machines hampers the efficiency of cargo inspection.
Where are the scanners? So these are part of our job, honorable colleagues.
Please, if there can be a legislation that all the terminals in the waterfront, they should be able to retain some percentage of the content of the vessel. That,
local content.
Yeah, local content.
Considering the critical role the Nigeria Customs Service plays in trade facilitation and revenue generation, the House Committee on Customs and Excise says it will stop at nothing to enhance the operational capacities of the service and monitor budgetary allocations. In Lagos, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Nigeria is reaffirming its commitment to meeting United Nations agenda on ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all through a purposeful investment in the country's health sector and reducing out-of-pocket health expenditure of citizens. Chairman National Population Commission Nasru Isakwara, who was speaking on Nigeria's social development progress at the 58th session of the Commission on Population and Development (CPD) in the United States, called for more commitment among member nations. With countries still striving towards implementation the 2030 UN agenda, Nasru Isakwara pinpoints how Nigerian government is prioritizing social developments through national policies and programs.
These efforts include the commitment to conduct digital population and housing census with biometric competence in the year 2025 to 2026 to provide inclusive data for policy and planning. Over the past, Nigeria has taken significant steps to improve health outcomes for our population. We have expanded access to primary health care services through the Basic Health Care Provision Fund, which prioritizes maternal and child health and routine immunization and disease prevention. To this end, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of over 8,800 primary health care centers across the country and upgrade of existing tertiary health institutions.
The Commission on Population and Development (CPD) is a platform the United Nations General Assembly gives to member countries to share national experience and also to strengthen cooperation. Now, in every democratic parliament around the world, the power of self-regulation is crucial, and Nigeria's National Assembly is no exception. Guided by its standing orders, the legislature has the authority to not only create rules for its proceedings, but also suspend them when necessary. Ignatius Unko has more on this.
The National Assembly operates on a set of guiding principles that ensure order, transparency, and effective lawmaking, known as the Standing Orders. This document serves as the official guide for legislative proceedings, spelling out the duties of members, the conduct of debates, and the procedures for passing bills and motions.
You must, for all intent and purposes, observe these rules. You cannot be appropriating and reprobating at the same time.
And every institution has its rules. We cannot pick which one we will defend or which one we will choose to adopt or which one we will choose to follow and ignore the others.
A part of these rules can be suspended, allowing the National Assembly to respond swiftly to urgent national matters.
But the rule, which is an extension of the Nigerian Constitution.
When time is of the essence or special situations arise, the chambers can override specific procedures through a motion. A notable example occurred in 2019 when members of the National Assembly suspended the usual process to quickly pass the 30,000 minimum wage bill in one day, demonstrating the practicality and efficiency of this legislative tool. While the legislature enjoys broad autonomy in managing its affairs, that power is not absolute. It cannot suspend any rule embedded in the Nigerian Constitution. This balance between flexibility and constitutional compliance strengthens parliamentary sovereignty and reinforces the doctrine of separation of powers. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Let's now join a former senator and chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Ita Enang, for more explanations on the standing orders of the National Assembly. Senator, glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
What is the role of the standing orders in Parliament?
Standing orders of the legislature is the rules and regulations made by each legislative house, the Senate, House of Representatives, or the Houses of Assembly, on how it will handle its own proceedings. The power is derived from Section 60 of the Constitution, which gives the Senate and the House of Representatives power to regulate its own procedures. It is that procedure it has regulated that is reduced into writing, and it is called standing orders or rules of the House. The House of Representatives has what we call the Green Book. The Senate has what we call the Red Book. Each of these is the rules book. It is the standing orders of the Senate, is the standing orders of the House of Representatives, the current one. So it is this which guides the House on how the House is to be convened as a new parliament. It defines the different offices that there will be. It defines, I think, in Section 59 and 58, that there shall be one National Assembly sitting in two chambers, House of Representatives and Senate. It creates the office of the Senate President, the office of the Speaker, the office of the Deputy President of the Senate, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. And very importantly also, this is often forgotten, it creates the office of the Clerk to the National Assembly. So the office of the Clerk to the National Assembly is a constitutionally guaranteed and established office. And then that office of the Clerk to the National Assembly, that section also says that the National Assembly shall make laws for, other than the clerk, other staff of the National Assembly, which includes the Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Clerk of the Senate, Clerk of the House, Clerk of Committees, and the permanent secretaries, the heads of directorate and all that, as established under the National Assembly Service Commission Act 2014. So this is the role that the National Assembly, that the standing orders does. And then the standing orders also gives their powers to establish committees, Committee on Finance, Committee on Appropriation, Rules on Business, Public Account, and so on. I think by the last count, the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has about 143 committees, and then the Senate, the Senate also has its own committees. The standing orders also state the kind of thing that you will do, how you handle your bills, how you handle motions, priority of motions, how you handle petitions, how you handle matters of urgent national importance. The standing orders also states the other offices other than the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, Speaker and Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly, and so on. It also creates other offices like the Leader of the Senate, Leader of the House, Whip of the Senate, Whip of the House, Deputy Whip of the House, Minority Leader, and all those other offices. Those ones are created by the standing orders, not the Constitution.
Sometimes we hear the Parliament suspending a part of these rules. Is it legitimate?
You make the orders. You are bound by it. But there are times that you run into trouble and you can suspend the standing orders. Now, you suspend it for the purpose of enabling something to be done. For instance, in the House of Representatives, the chairman of the Committee of Whole is the Deputy Speaker. And that includes appropriation. But when it is appropriation, they can suspend the rules for the speaker to preside. Now, there are also a situation where they have an emergency which requires certain things, and so you have to suspend the rules for that to be done.
Can the National Assembly suspend a rule that has been provided for in the Constitution?
There are situations that you cannot suspend the rules. Where there is like a constitutional requirement of majority or of number to take a particular decision, you cannot suspend the rules. What the Constitution is saying here, which the National Assembly, House of Representatives or Senate cannot suspend its rule for the purpose of taking this. It can suspend its rule, but what is contained in the Constitution is not part of its rules. You cannot suspend the provision of the Constitution regarding quorum and regarding anything that the provision has said.
And finally, can the standing orders be amended?
Yes, the standing orders can be amended, but you cannot amend the standing orders to amend the Constitution. You cannot amend the standing orders to breach any law that you have made. You cannot amend the standing orders to do anything which the law does not allow, which any other act of the National Assembly assented to by the President or becoming law by virtue of veto override. You cannot amend the Constitution, the standing orders, for the purpose of legalizing it. You can only amend the standing orders to say, okay, we have created additional committees. You can amend the standing orders and you cannot amend the standing orders to infringe on fundamental rights. For instance, I heard one of the chambers amending the standing orders to say that you must be there must be a ranking or non-ranking. These matters have been decided by the courts. So if you amend the standing orders for the purpose of disentitling some persons from contending for certain offices at the inauguration of the National Assembly, then something is wrong. Because when members come to the legislature, they are all members elect. Your standing has not yet come, but it's for the purpose of convenience. So these are matters which amendments have gone before the court and have been declared spoken upon. So there is a limit to the right to the amendment of standing order. And of course, you can also amend the standing orders because in the Senate, the chairman of the Committee of Supply is the President of the Senate, and the chairman of the all committees of whole is the President of the Senate, whereas in the House, it is the Speaker. It is the Deputy Senate President. So you can amend the standing orders to give roles to presiding officers other than that which has been stated in the Constitution, and to give different roles or additional roles to other principal officers of the majority and minority party, and to give roles to committees other than as were established.
Thank you so much for your time. Still to come, INEC on delineation of wards in the Warri Federal Constituency and other state assembly engagements. Details of this will come shortly after these messages.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You're welcome back. You're watching NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Compliance to the Supreme Court judgment, INEC is engaging stakeholders to implement the Supreme Court judgment of December 2022 on delineation of wards in Warri North Warri South and Warri South West Federal Constituency, and there is no plan to disobey the judgment. This was in reaction to speculations that INEC is yet to take a final decision on the delineation of wards in the Warri Federal Constituency. Statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information Sam Olumikan urges representatives of the various stakeholders to submit their observations on the draft report, which will serve as a basis for further engagement on the matter. Meanwhile, INEC appeals to all stakeholders in the constituency to refrain from engaging in any activity that could threaten the peace and security of the area. Meanwhile, Delta State Community Core Agency Amendment Bill 2025, House Bill 34, has passed through the second reading. Godfrey Nzeku reports that the House also confirmed the appointment of Bobai Inai as Secretary of Bobandi Local Government Council.
The bill, presented by member representing Anota South State Constituency, Chief Isaac Anguza, was passed in 2020. The amendment seeks to enhance the agency's effectiveness, establish community policing in Delta, and propose some key analysis. The bill scaled through the second reading after a thorough debate and support by members and was referred to House Committee on Special Bills and House Committee on Peace and Security to report back to the House by May 20, 2025.
The bill is proposes the following key amendments. Section 5 of Municipal Law. We are amending this section to expand the agency's functions to include community policing, initiatives, collaboration with local communities, and providing security advice and guidance. Specifically, we are inserting new paragraphs 1 to 0 to enhance the agency's role in community policing and security surveillance.
Mr. Speaker, many of our women in Kano can no longer go to their farms. So this is also even leading to food insecurity. Because people no longer go to their farms. In fact, along the Ute axis in my constituency, everybody working in that health center, they call me to see how they can be posted to other health centers because nobody goes to Ute anymore. So you can even imagine that there's also a health crisis. Because we no longer have anybody in the healthcare centers in Ute because everyone is running away from healthcare. Mr. Speaker, as House member, I've had to even pay ransom for some of my constituents that have been kidnapped. Because in the canopies now, they are going into people's houses to kidnap people. No longer in farmland, they are going into people's houses to kidnap people. And because we do not pay or give adequate attention to most of our vigilante groups, many people no longer come out to safeguard their communities.
Mr. Speaker, the need for the speed passage of this bill cannot go by facade. Arising from the security challenges we have today in Delta State. Mr. Speaker, just 3 days ago, some of my constituents were kidnapped at Iselu. As if that was not enough, the following day, 2 days ago, some persons again, almost at the same spot, were kidnapped.
A bill for a law to amend the Delta State Community Security Core Agency Law 2020 to enhance the agency's effectiveness, accountability, and community policing in Delta State and for related matters. Second reading.
Earlier, the House confirmed the appointment of Bobai Inai as Secretary of Bobandi Local Government Council after presentation by member representing Bobandi State Constituency, Kenneth Oboro Preyo, and thorough screening.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by the majority leader and seconded by the member representing Bobandi that this honorable House do now confirm Mr. Bobai Inai as Secretary Bobandi Local Government Council. Those in favor say aye. Those against say the ayes have it.
The House adjourned plenary to Wednesday, April 9, 2025. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
In recent times, the frequency of grid collapse for disturbances put to question the reliability of the nation's power supply chain. To restore customers' confidence and ensure efficiency of the grid, federal government unbundled the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, with a new agency, Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO, to manage the grid. Joshua Ojitu reports on prospects of NISO and the stability of the grid.
Electricity customers and industry players yearn for a reliable grid that will transmit quality and uninterrupted power supply, and their voices were heard as the industry birthed new agency, Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO. In line with the Electricity Act 2023, NISO will take charge of system operations, managing load allocation from generation companies to distribution companies and eligible customers, while the transmission service provider, TSP, will now oversee TCN physical infrastructure that include transmission towers, power lines and substations. With the successful unbundling of TCN into two agencies and inauguration of NISO board and management by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, the journey has begun for NISO to instill discipline and orderliness in the electricity market for stability of the national grid.
We understand the challenges in the industry, and we're going to tackle them pragmatically and systematically. We're going to deal with these problems, like I said, it's a journey. We are starting from somewhere, and gradually, definitely with speed and quality, we shall be there to make sure that Nigerians enjoy steady, reliable electricity supply.
With the National Control Center, Osogbo, as its first port of call to ensure operators align with the vision, mission and objectives of the new agency, NISO is expected to be a game changer in the industry, thereby ending frequent cases of grid collapse and disturbances. Joshua Ojitu, NTA News.
This is where we draw the curtain on our news for this evening. For more updates, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platforms scrolling on your screen. Thank you for watching. Once again, I'm Amina Saidu. Bye for now.